Hey, Randy from Funeral Funds of America. In this video, I'm going to show you the actual rates for $5,000 worth of burial, cremation, final expense, life insurance, or funeral funds for a 67-year-old female. Now, first thing you need to understand is you can go directly to our website. We've got these quoters on just about every single page. And all you do is click the state that you live in. We are licensed in all 50 states, by the way, and select the coverage amount. Put your birthday in there, the rest of the info, click Get Quotes Now. It will take you to a page that's going to show you all the best insurance companies and all the best pricing. And what that will help you do, that will help you shop smartly so you don't fall for these sucker rates out there where they advertise a super low rate and then they get you on the phone and they try to upsell you because that super low rate is hardly any coverage at all. You can also call us at our toll-free number, 888-862-9456, and one of our licensed agents can help you get pricing and help you understand your qualification too. Now, the first thing you need to think about as a 67-year-old female looking at $5,000 is that going to be enough for your final expense needs? Now, when we talk about final expense needs, typically that's going to mean either cremation or burial. Now, if you're looking at getting cremated, the actual cost of a cremation in the United States right now is right between $1,000 to $2,000. Now, that's if you just come home in a cardboard box or an urn, nothing fancy. Now, if you're going to have some sort of a ceremony, maybe a celebration of life, remembrance of life ceremony, something like that, and have the cremation, that's probably going to be maybe $3,500 to $4,500. So as far as coverage needs, we would typically recommend for that cremation where you come home in a cardboard box or an urn, probably $5,000 to $7,000 worth of coverage. Well, and you might ask yourself, well, that seems like we're over-insuring a little bit. Yeah, we are, because you're age 67. We're hoping you're going to make it to 77, maybe 87. So we want to make sure that we get enough coverage to just cover the cost of inflation as time goes on. So even if you get like $5,000, there will be some extra money left over if you were to die sooner than you thought, but that money can be used for other expenses like maybe other final expenses or medical bills or something like that. But as time goes on, that inflation proofs your plan too so that you don't have to get more coverage in the future. Now for that cremation where you're going to have that ceremony, probably $7,000 to $10,000-ish, somewhere in there. Now once in a while people will come up to us and say, hey, you know, I want to get like $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 worth of insurance because I want to leave some money behind for my kids. And generally, we recommend against that simply because our typical clients on Social Security or disability and they're on a limited income, and it would be nice to leave money behind for our children. But, you know, when you take care of your final expense needs, it is kind of like leaving money behind because they're not going to have to pay for this for you after you're gone. And a lot of times, if you were looking at, say, $40,000, it just gets too expensive. And then it would be ridiculous to say, well, if I can't afford to do $40,000, I'm not going to do anything because that puts your children and family and friends at risk financially too. So you'd be better off just getting, you know, $10,000. And then we can always help you add more coverage later if your situation improves income-wise. So keep that in mind. Now, for a burial, the average cost of a burial right now in the United States is right around $10,000. So if you walk into a funeral home, you know, pretty much anywhere in the United States and you hand them a $10,000 check, they'll get it done, but it's not going to be anything fancy. You know, it's hard to believe that they would say no to $10,000, let you walk out the door and take that check to one of their competitors a couple blocks down the road or something like that. So just understand it's not going to be very fancy. So the average policy that we're helping a 67-year-old female with for a burial is probably somewhere in the $10,000 to $15,000 range. Now, can you get a little bit more? Yeah, certainly. We can help you get a lot more. But we would really just want to make sure that you were totally comfortable with that and that you felt like you could maintain those payments, you know, for the rest of your life. So we're fairly conservative about getting people coverage. And we just know that we can always add more coverage later if that's helpful to you at all. So one thing we always recommend is getting first day coverage or benefits. And that is so important because we do not recommend those to 2-year waiting period plans. Yeah, those 2-year waits are just like, no, don't do it. I'm going to talk about that in a moment, though. But a lot of people would say, hey, I like that first day coverage, but I'm not in the best of health. And I know they ask health questions. So what do I do? And we say, well, your health isn't your concern. That's our concern, as far as insurance goes. And the reason we say that is we work with a lot of different insurance companies. They all have different underwriting requirements. They all have different health questions. And we work with a bunch of different ones because we can pick and choose based off what you've got going on medically. And we've got right around a 95% approval rate for first aid coverage or benefits. The only reason we wouldn't be able to get you first aid coverage or benefits is if you had a really significant health issue, like maybe you had a terminal illness and you're going to pass away in the next 12 months, or you had dementia, or you're on dialysis, or in a hospital, or in a nursing home, something like that. If that were the case, we'd probably refer you out to a different insurance company. Now, the other thing that seems to happen every week is we get a call from someone and they'll say, hey, we just had a family member pass away this last week and they didn't have insurance and we don't have any money. And now their body's down at the funeral home and the funeral home director's not going to do anything till he gets a check in his hand. So we need to get this insurance really quick so that we can get a check in our hand to get into the hand of the funeral home director. And we have to let them know that there's no insurance company in the United States that's going to offer an insurance policy on a dead person. You actually have to be alive to qualify for this insurance. So it's really a terrible situation where somebody that you loved did not love you enough to get this insurance and therefore force you to pay for this. And in many cases, families have to finance this. They don't have the money and they spend years paying this off. And what a terrible, awful legacy to leave behind, that every time your name comes up, people go, oh yeah, we're still paying for his funeral. Yeah, so don't be that person. This insurance is affordable. You're not going to live forever. None of us knows when we're going to die. Could be 20 minutes from now, could be 20 years. Get this insurance while you can. So, as I mentioned, the one thing we don't recommend is those 2-year waiting period plans. Yikes. Yeah. So like Colonial Penn, here's their website. They are probably one of the, more well-known ones, I guess, probably just because they advertise so much for that $9.95 plan. It seems like they're on TV with commercials every 7 minutes or so. But yeah, their $9.95 plan has a 2-year waiting period. You may not have known that. Now you do. There's other companies out there too that have 2-year waiting periods, like Mutual of Omaha, their United of Omaha line, AIG, Gerber. And boy, there's a bunch of other ones out there. And some of these companies out there have done such an amazing job of convincing the American public that the only thing they qualify for if they're over age 50 is a 2-year waiting period plan, to which we say, don't believe such nonsense, because we help people with first aid coverage all day long. Yeah, don't believe that garbage you're hearing out there. So a lot of females age 67, they would probably be looking at that $9.95 commercial, and possibly they might just be thinking, for $9.95, I'm glad I waited to age 67, because for $9.95, I'm probably going to get maybe 20,000, maybe even 30, possibly 40,000. I bet I can even get $50,000 worth of coverage for $9.95 because the commercial sounds so good. And then they check with a Colonial Penn agent or get on their website like we've done for you here. And they find out that a 67-year-old female for 1 unit of coverage, which is $9.95, that's only going to buy $1,167. And I got to tell you, I'm not even sure if $1,167 is even going to pay for a cremation these days. But it doesn't matter because this plan's got a 2-year waiting period and it's not going to pay out for 2 years and if you die of a health or medical reason. So, yeah, boy, I tell you what, be really careful of companies out there that offer kind of low teaser rates is what they call them. And a lot of people would say, These companies with low teaser rates, they just put those out there to get you to call in. And then once you find out how little coverage it is, they try upselling you to get more money out of you. And, we would never say anything like that. But, you might want to think about that and see if that makes any sense to you. But let's take a look here. Let's take a look at $5,000 worth of coverage. Now, through Colonial Penn, 67-year-old female cannot get $5,000 worth of coverage. Not on the nose, no, because they've got this per unit pricing, and it ends up with these wackadoodle numbers like $1,167. So I'm going to guess, let's look at 4 units. That's not going to be enough. That's 4,668. See, we got to just goof around with these numbers a little bit. And then we go to 5 units. There we go, 58. So yeah, it's difficult to get it close. I mean, most other companies allow you to buy $5,000, but Colonial Penn, you got to get these units so that they can offer that 1 unit at $9.95 to attract you to call them, perhaps. But let's take a look here. We're going to go look at first day coverage here. And let's see. So we've got $5,000 for a female age 67. And we're going to get a quote for first day coverage, see how much money we can save you. So again, this is as close as we can get to $5,000, $49. But if we look over here, $5,000, yep, is going to be roughly $23. Now, there's some companies that we recommend more so than others. Like there's some companies, possibly like this one, that are more difficult to get approved with and that have more difficult customer service and everything after the fact as far as paying claims or anything like that. So we're really picky about what insurance companies we recommend. And if something's within 50 cents or $1 and we can get a better company, we always recommend that. In this case, we actually work with Trinity Life. We think they're a terrific company. They've got flexible underwriting, and they've got first day coverage, and they've got terrific support, both from your end and from our end. So, but if you look at that, look at this, $49 versus $23. So what we see is in just about every case, Colonial Penn is right about 200% more expensive than first day coverage. So why would you do that? This is 49 versus 23. Now this is for 58, 5,800 versus 5,000, but it's probably double the cost. So let's say it's $25 more a month. That's probably pretty close. $25 more a month. That is an extra $300 a year you're overpaying. If our 67-year-old female lives to age 77, that would be an extra $3,000 you're overpaying on a $5,000 policy. Does that make any sense at all? In Colonial Penn, they will allow you to overpay on that policy for the rest of your life. So it only gets worse as time goes on. And it's got a 2-year waiting period. Why would you do such nonsense? I'm not sure. When you could get, in almost every case, first day coverage or better coverage. So let's take a look at a couple other companies here. Again, there's some companies out there that are just absolute bears to do business with. And, it might take you a month or week or so to get a policy approved. And that should never happen in this day and age. We've got companies out there that you can get an answer right away over the telephone. That way you don't have to worry about this anymore instead of waiting weeks or months and having to sign multiple amendments and this and that and everything. Yikes. Terrible way of doing business. So let's take a look here. Let's find another company here. You'll be able to see all these companies, all these prices on our quote. Like here's one, Lincoln Heritage. Now they're level coverage, so that's good. I mean they're a fine company, I guess, other than, their pricing's more. Yeah. It's like $10 more a month, and you might not think that's a big deal, but we're gonna look at that in just a moment here. But Lincoln Heritage has got a deal where they supposedly would call 2 or 3 different funeral homes after you pass away and get the lowest pricing and maybe do a couple other things, but they charge more for that. So it's like $10 more a month. That's $120 a year. That's $1,200 after 10 years. You go, well, maybe that's not that much, but consider they're just going to call 2, 3 funeral homes, maybe do a couple other things, and it might take an hour or so. So $1,200 an hour A lot of times people would say that's a pretty good deal for the insurance company. We would tend to agree. So what we've done at Funeral Funds of America is we've created a funeral and estate planning guide, and you can just print that off our website and then fill it out. And then we recommend you keep it with your insurance policy. And that way, when you pass away, your family goes right to the insurance policy and they've got the funeral and estate planning guide. And you've not only protected them financially with the insurance money, but you've also protected them emotionally because you've listed everything down that needs to be done when you pass away. And they're not going to have to worry about a thing. They're not going to have to think about a thing. They'll just execute your wishes. And, what a gift of love to take care of this. And they will know that you were thinking about them in life for a time when you would no longer be around after you're dead. And what a wonderful legacy to leave behind. They will know that you truly loved them and cared about them. And, actions speak louder than words. Oh my gosh, what a blessing you will have been to them. So go to our website. We've got these free quoters on just about every page. We've got a special quoter for our YouTube viewers, funeralfunds.com/YouTube. We've got a special quoter there where you can get the most discounts and the best rates. And you can also call us at 888-862-9456. One of our agents can help you out with this. Whether you've got an existing policy and you just want to price shop it to make sure you got the best deal, or maybe you just want to add coverage to an existing policy, we can help with that. If you want a brand new policy, certainly we can help with that. Or if you just want information or help understanding what's going on, we can help you out with that. We look forward to helping you get the most coverage for the least amount of money. And until we talk with you and help you out with this, we wish you the best. You take care. You have a nice day and take care. Bye-bye.